Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is a special re-edited explainer from our friends at the Sip&Talk channel, and it's brought to you by Mickey. We're going to be distilling all the key takeaways from our recent deep dive conversation to tackle a massive question. Is Iran actually on the brink of collapse? All right, let's jump right in.
So, back in early January 2026, you might have seen this blowing up online. The hashtag @IranCollapse was literally everywhere, and it was being fed by these wild, dramatic rumors. We're talking about the supreme leader supposedly packing his bags for Moscow, and the famous Grand Bazaar in Tehran just completely shutting down. It really felt like we were all watching history happen in real time on our phones. But you have to ask, what was real and what was just noise?
Well, here's the thing. A regime collapse isn't usually some big fireworks show that happens overnight. But the data is telling us that Iran is facing its most fragile moment since the 1979 revolution. And it's not because of any one single thing. It's a perfect storm, a combination of three huge pressures all hitting the country at the exact same time.
Now, what's so fascinating here is how these crises are all tangled up together. You've got an economic collapse of historic proportions, you've got a potential power vacuum right at the very top, and you have the country becoming more and more isolated from the outside world. Seriously, any one of these would be a nightmare for a government to handle. All three at once. That puts an unbelievable amount of strain on the whole system.
To really feel the economic pain, just look at this number. It's hard to even wrap your head around it. The Iranian rial hit a new all-time low against the US dollar, 1.4 million to 1. Now, that's not just a number on a screen. That is people's entire life savings vanishing into thin air. That's the daily, crushing struggle just to buy food.
And this chart just paints an even clearer picture, an inflation rate over 70%. I mean, just look at it compared to the regional and global averages. It's absolutely devastating. You see, when people can't afford bread anymore, protests stop being about politics and they start being about pure survival. And that right there is a much, much more powerful force for change.
So you throw this on top of the economic fire, deep uncertainty about who's in charge. The supreme leader's long absence from the public eye started all this intense speculation about his health and, more importantly, about who could possibly take his place. This kind of situation creates a super dangerous power vacuum in what is already a really volatile environment. So to really get why this perfect storm is so dangerous, we kind of have to zoom out a bit. We need to look past the specifics of Iran and talk about a universal idea from political science, one that explains the fatal flaw baked into all authoritarian regimes.
This right here, this is the key to everything. Preference falsification. It sounds academic, I know, but the idea is actually super simple. It's when people say out loud that they support the regime because they're scared, but privately, in their homes, they feel the complete opposite. This creates a total illusion of stability, right? It looks like everyone is happy. It's like the modern version of the old Soviet problem. The government has absolutely no idea how many people actually hate them until it's way too late.
I love this analogy. It's perfect. Think about it like this. Democratic systems, they're like a pot with a steam valve. You've got elections, a free press, protests. They all let the social pressure out bit by bit. But authoritarian systems, they're like a pressure cooker where the valve has been welded shut. They just keep suppressing all that tension, thinking everything's fine, while the pressure just builds and builds and builds until the whole thing explodes.
And you know, this is what happens when a government's #1 job becomes just keeping itself in power. A kind of deep rot starts to set in. People aren't citizens you serve anymore. They're just resources you manage. Loyalty isn't earned through belief, it's bought with fear. But the most critical thing, the thing that seals their fate, is that the regime loses the one thing it needs to survive, the truth.
And that's exactly why what's happening in Tehran isn't just some local story. You can bet that people are watching this with extreme anxiety in Moscow and in Beijing, because what's happening there strikes right at the heart of their own systems of government.
For Russia, the danger is immediate and it's military. Iran has been a lifeline, supplying crucial drones and technology for the war in Ukraine. If that regime changes, it's not just a diplomatic oopsie, it would be a strategic flank collapse. It would seriously hurt their war effort and their entire standing in the Middle East.
Now, for China, the fear is kind of twofold. First, there's the practical economic side, a threat to their energy supplies and their massive Belt and Road project. But then there's this deeper ideological fear. See, anytime people successfully rise up against an authoritarian government anywhere in the world, it's seen as a direct threat to their own system's legitimacy.
And all of this leads to this unsolvable puzzle. this paradox that all modern authoritarian states are trapped in. To stay in power, they need tight control. But to have legitimacy in the eyes of their people, they need a growing economy. And guess what? A modern economy needs to grow. The free flow of information and talent. But that very freedom, it destroys the tight control they need to survive. It's a catch-22 they can never escape.
Okay, I know that was a lot of complex stuff. So let's try to boil it all down into 3 simple analogies that I think make it all crystal clear.
First, let's picture a really bad CEO. You know the type. He ignores all the customer complaints, he blames his own employees when sales are down, and he protects his own bonus above everything else. From the inside, the company looks stable because nobody dares to speak the truth. He only finds out that the company is actually failing when the bank calls to say his credit has been cut off.
Or how about this? Imagine an apartment building where the management bans anyone from reporting leaking pipes or cracks in the walls. Why? To protect the building's image. But silencing the problem doesn't fix it, does it? It just guarantees that when the building does finally collapse, it happens suddenly and without any warning.
And finally, this one might be my favorite. Picture a driver who thinks his GPS is his enemy. The GPS says, "Warning, road ahead is blocked." But the driver is convinced it's a foreign conspiracy and just turns it off, absolutely certain he knows a better way. When he smashes right into the roadblock, well, you can't blame the road, can you? It's the driver's fault for choosing to ignore the warnings.
So, if there is one big idea to take away from all of this, it's this. When a system is designed only to protect itself from its own people, it has completely lost its reason for being. It becomes just like a business that refuses to listen to its customers. At that point, it's no longer a question of if it will fail, but when.
And that leaves us with one last really difficult question. Because even if a regime does collapse, what comes next is never guaranteed. Is it the start of a new beginning, or could it be the start of something even more chaotic and painful? The fall of a government is often just the beginning of a much longer, harder story.
Well, I really hope you found this breakdown insightful. If you want to hear the full, unedited conversation, you can find it over on the Sip&Talk channel. And of course, please be sure to check out our sponsor, Mickey. He makes amazing travel vlogs and memes. We've put links to both channels down in the description for you. Thank you so much for watching.